Thanks, Cathaoirleach, and thanks, Minister, for coming into the House. I know you know this is a very important issue to my constituents, your constituents and survivors all over the world. When you came into the House in October of this year, you brought forward legislation to prevent the destruction of the records and the database from the Commission of Investigation. And myself and my colleagues supported that legislation because we thought it was critically important that the database and records that had been assembled by the Commission of Investigation in the course of 5 years' work, detailing the history over 75 years, 18 institutions and more than 70,000 individuals, mothers and babies, those records, that database would be protected and in an unredacted form would be kept. I asked you at the time, Minister, and I appreciate that you did take action to ensure that the database and the records would be protected, that a complete version of it would be kept in your own department. But I also sought guarantees around access to the personal data for the survivors and their children, and that there would be an anonymised index published, and that you would champion the establishment of an archive in Sean McDermott Street. So I asked for you to come to the House today so that you could update the House on how survivors and their children will get access to their personal records. How will witnesses who gave testimony to the Commission get access to their transcripts? How will the unmarked graves of those babies be made available, the information? And finally, if you can update us, I don't know if you can, Minister, on the Government's position on establishing an archive on Sean McDermott Street. It would be really informative, and I think most importantly, what I'm looking for an update on is the Government's work to protect the records and the databases, but most critically to give access to the survivors and their families, access to their personal information, to reclaim their identities, to know who they are, and to end this terrible pain and shame, and to bring this really dark period in our history into the daylight.